that we are through in Argyll rather than doing Zoom interviews for Vintage Legends. So I'm here today with the guys from Fallen Dove. So thank you very much for joining us. It's amazing to be out here. So thanks for meeting with us today.
Thanks
for
you.
coming out here early.
That's okay. I'm up anyway. You guys have been across doing your Back to the UK tour. How's things been with that?
It's I think the most important part of this trip this time around really has been the support that we got from Vintage, because with all the running around and dropping off and picking stuff up and the logistics, sometimes just these tours are very tight budget wise. So an airline can, literally, we thought we got away easy when we got to the airport. We're like, oh, we're going to borrow Vintage guitars because they want us to make sure that we're all branded for this tour. It's one promise we made for them. And they have this new line of the Revo series that they wanted us to try out. So we'll just leave our stuff home, which is not a thing because a lot of times you trust your gear to deliver the job. But I think that comes, you trust them as much as they trust you in branding. So it was a big trust exercise to literally just get what they were going to send us. But now that they know us and they know how finicky we are with what we need, they take their time putting 11 strings or whatever it is, gauge, setting it up as best as we can. Or we just drive by the shop and fix intonation issues. And that's been a very lovely thing with them. But the expenses of it, we literally cut corners to get here, and we get to the airport, and the guy almost took like $250 off of us. Literally, just for 2 small check bags.
Jeez.
So the flights were cheap enough, but the check bags is where they got us. So
Even a carry-on.
Mm-hmm.
They were charging us £90 for a carry-on.
Really?
They're nuts.
Yeah.
So that's where it's
traveling with instruments is like a whole nother thing.
And I think for like an indie artist right now, we have to, and he's seen it, first on, because first time touring with us, I always go, well, here's the budget. This covers, and we're lucky because he's been playing here for years.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, it's kind of nice that they actually pay you guys, because a lot of young musicians don't get anything, So the fact that, we're able to move our budgets around, figure out ways to be able to just not just cut corners, but also be comfortable.
Yeah.
Because the worst thing you could do is go and, I'm not as young as they are, so I've already done my fair share of sleeping on the floor and sharing beds, which again, we're not against if we have to.
No.
But in order to deliver a great performance, we want to be able to be fresh and be comfy.
It makes such a difference to
And so, wherever I've been able to make sure you guys have bedding, you guys have your own beds, your own rooms. A little separation is also key, because,
spend a lot of time together.
some of us want, especially in a car, and eventually the jokes are the same. You're torturing her. And you got 3 boys with boy humor.
I'm more on the boy humor than you are most of the time.
But some of the stuff we've been torturing her enough. It's like, I can see if I can zone out enough. Some of the jokes are a little colorful.
It's nice to be able to have like you said, the flexibility of the budget, considering staying at this place, for example, so it can be really nice. It makes a big difference. With the guitars, obviously, you have been playing vintage for,
around the world now, I can say. Mexico, Australia, Japan, all over the US.
And how did you, stumble upon them in the first place?
So, I came on a tour, and the tour ended, and we met Darnell.
Yeah.
And the tour ended, and I had like 2 weeks left for the tour, and Darnell just goes, well, I'll pick you guys up in the next city. So he picked me up and the old bass player up. And we just hopped we lived in the back of their van as the tour went on. Obviously we took care of our own lodging, but some of the places he stayed at had lodging. So now we're touring these things. And we literally were like these weird, because me and the other guys don't look like the Darnell band, So we look very alike, so, glasses, but we're both very light sensitive, so people think, oh, these weird vampire creatures, just in the back of the van come out.
And the other guy really does. It's the same, like, they both have the black spiky hair and the leather jacket and the sunglasses.
We got 2 of those characters coming out. And so we'd get to these venues and open, and this was, remember, it's the ending of like almost the ending of COVID, but
Yeah,
not all the way.
Stuff starting to open up again.
So there was cancellations everywhere.
Yeah.
So the openers would always cancel, and Darnell would go, "Hey, why don't you guys open up the show?" And that's how the relationship started. I go, "Well, yeah, I guess we'll use your drummer. You know, got a bass, whatever." We went and we started playing all these shows with them, but using their gear, using the vintage gear. That was pretty cool. And Darnell would go, "Well, I know you like your fancy guitars, but you know it's a good company." I go, "Yeah, but you know what I do like is that there, you know, there's not a bad guitar there. You can find a guitar there that fits whatever style." And as we've gone through the countryside and stuff, we see a lot of people really, you know what, one of the most screwed up things I learned about coming here to England is how bad you guys have it getting here. It's either horribly expensive, or you guys literally, unless you know somebody on the other side, you know, that can bring it with, or you take a trip. But a lot of cats can't afford to get out there and bring something back. They really can't, and just the import and shipping fees, it's terrible what they go through. So Vintage has been able to create a market to be able to have like the old dude up the street that always wanted a 335 that couldn't afford one. You know, now he can have a BS500. And I'm going to say this to you, you know, I played for Gibson and a lot of these other companies. And, you know, I like to think of Vintage holding their own market, creating their own product, inspired by different brands' style and classic style, but they are definitely creating their own tone. It's a young company in that aspect. And so, like I said with Darnell, it really was an easy introduction to get to know them, and them taking a chance on us as well. Yeah. And they really have gone. We broke a guitar in Japan. I would say we. His buddy Jamie, the drummer, breaks this guitar.
It's not even here.
Literally breaks the guitar.
Yeah.
Everybody's having a panic attack.
Oh my God.
One of them is over there and just, you know, fucking.
These floorboards are so thin.
Yeah. And the other guy's just having an anxiety attack. And I just remove myself from the side. I go over there and I send an email to Vintage. And we get to the hotel the next morning, there's 2 Vintage guitars there for the road. Who does that?
Within 24 hours, we had replacements for everything we needed.
Yeah. So that's the type of love and support that a company like Vintage has. And like I said, I played for some of the great companies. And back in the day, it's the
potatoes are ready.
Back in the day when we'd play for these companies, I remember I go on, my first endorsement was with Taylor Guitars, playing this acoustic, beautiful $5,000 guitar. At this point, you know, I had crappy Telecasters that I could beat up or dance, and they look cool. And I told the guy, I go, "I can't take this guitar." I go, this is like museum-y. I go, I don't know.
What scratches thing by accident, and I feel really bad.
He goes, "Just take it with you." First show of taping on television, literally, and this guy's been on TV all his life as well. So, you know, they cut the scene right before we're shooting there was like a tape studio audience, and the strap came off, and the whole guitar goes into the mic stand, breaks entirely in half. And I just froze. And obviously I'm on TV, so they gave me another thing to use. Took it back, and they, no stress, no sweat. Gave me another one the next day.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Until they fixed that. So I think when you're a young person and you work really hard to get gear, it definitely, you know, you try to really take care of nice things. And so that's the one thing about the Vintage stuff, is very durable, you know. How's your experience been? Because you've been through a lot of guitars in your life.
I mean, it's been pretty incredible, to be honest. The guitar I have, the Revo Super Thin, that's like genuinely just incredible. Like I was kind of, I wouldn't say shocked, because I'd played Vintage before, and I always really, really loved the sound. My school had this sort of yellow single cut with P90s, and that was one of the best sort of lead tones I've ever got. But it was pretty amazing, this guitar.
Yeah.
Like, I was, I don't know what I was expecting, but certainly it blew my mind. I've totally fallen in love with it, to be honest. So,
Because when he came on the road, and that's the other thing, this is his first tour with us, and so we pick him up, and he had this guitar, and I was like, well, look, dude, I go, we're trying to do stuff with Vintage. I know you don't know them, but we are going to go to the factory. I go, and I have an extra one, which was kind of like based off of Foo Fighters. What's his name?
Dave Grohl.
Yeah, and the guitar's called The Pretender.
Yeah.
And I go, well, you play this one, and he got to know that. And obviously, it starts there, because he's like, well, this is cool, but I need a little bit more out of this guitar, or a little bit more tone to what he's doing.
Yeah. And
so we end up at the Vintage store, and he starts going through the different. He had, Tom had a bunch of guitars set up for you to try, and he was happy. I mean, he had gone into the last two ones that he wanted to use, and both beautiful, because you also don't want to just take a guitar. You also got to think when you're doing branding for these companies, you want to take things that they want out that's not out. As an artist, I think for us too, is to remain unique, is have things that have that wow factor as well.
So people ask about it.
Yeah.
Oh, what's that? And then you can explain it to them.
How do you find playing the bass?
Oh, I love it. I'm usually playing a Hofner.
Okay.
So jumping from a Hofner to that, honestly, I'm switching over because there's so many little bits and bobs to play with. It's got the double pickups, and it's just beautiful, and the look of it is beautiful. People keep coming up to me at every show and asking, like, what is it?
They got so many photos of that bass, right?
Like
for the last first few dates of the tour.
Yeah, every single show, I have at least 3 people come up to me and ask me about it.
And it's short scale as well, so.
Yeah, so which is close to what it means, and it's a hollow body as well. So I kind of do like a August Rush kind of way of playing a lot of the time, and
it's a little aggressive too.
Helps.
That bass you got, it's nice and aggressive too.
It's got a good like echo to it. I love it. It's beautiful here.
That's a nice echo you have. So that's how kind of we've been going through this journey, and so he's sitting there with the two beautiful things, and these two guitar solos are not out. And then Tom is you can tell he's getting a little frustrated because, he's the same way. He's like, well, I like that, but if it could have gold, gold tuners and all the pretty gold stuff in gold and this and that. And Tom goes, you could tell that Tom needs to get back to work. He goes, you know what? Katie's showing me this beautiful Revo thing with all these pickups, and I was like, she's like, what do you think about this? I like it, but not for me. And then, when you got to the bar.
That is not, okay. So I held it up. I go and grab it, and I go, hey, this is really cool. Like, I think one of you guys should play it. And they go, no, don't be silly. And I'm like, okay. So I put it back, and then somebody else brings it out. And they're like, oh, man, look at this. He goes, oh, wow, I quite like that. I'm like, you know what? I'm chopped liver. I'm gonna go
here's
sit
the
in
thing.
corner.
Here's the thing. Those were presented to me, right, from Dennis a while back. I got the email. And so when Katie was pushing, I was hoping she wasn't going to push it on there because then he was going to... I was already set with my guitar. But I knew Tom would have been like, oh, Boz really wants you to take this one. And then there would have been a no option thing. So I tried to just kind of lay back. So when she kind of gives it to me, so he's already stressed out going back in front of me. Right? I go, try this one. And honestly, we both went like, okay, that's it.
Yeah.
Just, I'm plugging in, it just, and the other ones were prettier, but this thing is just.
It just took a man to propose it. It couldn't be me. Couldn't be me.
But just after plugging it in, I remember just playing like a chord on it. I was like, oh yeah, that's just what I need. That's just the sound,
And he didn't even sign up for that. These were the.
The Jodo.
Gorgeous, right? And it's got the 3 pickups, so that's kind of one of the things we were looking at. So it was between that and. I'm not sure if I got a video of you with the photo of you with the other one. What was the other one? Oh, that's the one he was going to take.
The V100 with the
Yeah. But the original one you wanted had the gold.
Yeah, it had a gold hardware, no pick guard. Like it sort of looked like sort of. I don't know, the 2000s metal core.
I understand that Paul has like a room down there, and it's like just some kind of Scrooge McDuckian vault with different guitars and prototypes. I hear.
Who's this?
Paul.
Oh, I heard about this. Yes, Darnell said that to me. So.
When you check this, Paul needs to do his own little tour of the room, I think.
Yeah, you should bring us out there just to spend a little bit of time with these guitars. He's got things that also have been put away.
I imagine he has.
Yeah.
So Paul, we need to see us tour the vault, okay?
Next time it's a tour. And so that's how we ended up with this nice eclectic collection of guitars for the tour, and it's been...
it looks... even when you say eclectic, it looks like such a good fit. Like there's nothing that stands out. When you see some bands, you maybe see someone that's got like a Les Paul and then like a BC Rich or something like that, and oh, like, kind of a bit kind of jarring. There's nothing like that. But you guys, though, it's just they just blend nicely,
And it's nice too because we all have like the little hollow buddy swirls, and we're all matchy, and the sounds sound really good.
Which is a hard thing to fucking tour with all hollow bodies.
Yeah.
But we've been able to. I think definitely the guitar that you have, the amount of control you have with it. I mean, for it being a hollow body, you're able to control the output out of it. Like yesterday, so one of the challenges he's got, he's got this Helix board. So unfortunately, some of the PA systems may not be the best. That works on great. If you have a great PA system, that thing sounds amazing. If you have not a great PA system,
you can't hear it.
Yeah,
you kind of issues.
Or it's all trebling. And then they crank it wrongly, and they just, instead of giving you a flat signal to them, or and so that's been a challenge. So having his guitar going through that, I almost feel like he gets extra pedals out of his guitar, Cool. You're able to definitely do a lot of plug and play between you're able to kind of control a little bit more of a comfort level.
Okay.
Yesterday it was so trebly on the board, and the lady was not giving him anything. He was able to go into his guitar, tweak a few things, and we were able to get a little bit more low end into his guitar.
Well, I know you guys are on quite a tight schedule for stuff to do today. One last thing I would like to know is, you get some demos you're looking to record. When can we hear potentially some new stuff?
Of what we're doing here? So we came here not planning on making. We didn't know what we were going to be in for. So we started. I think we got here what time yesterday? Like after the show.
Well, we got back here about 1 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
So I just went in there and just wrote 2 songs just so we can get something started today. And so, hopefully, we don't know how it's. I mean, this man's really as fast as I am writing, so it's just a matter of how fast we get out here, how much we get done here. Yeah. As you know, the gear that we're using is a little bit.
He's just a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it needs a little bit of love, but I think that's the beauty of sometimes limitations, because it takes you through a creative corridor of minimizing what you can do or what you can do, and then literally just comes down to the magic of what you can do with less. So that's where we're at.
That's pretty cool. Well, awesome. Let me say thank you so much for joining us. I'll be seeing you guys on Sunday evening at the club anyway. So thank you so much.
Thank you for making your way out here, and thank you for supporting us and Vintage and other artists alike.
It's honestly my pleasure, and thanks for everyone for checking us out again. By all means, have a look on Facebook for the Vintage Players group. So it's facebook.com/groups/the Vintage Place, and you can check us out on Instagram at 90live Vintage Legends. And of course, if you want to subscribe, hit the button. Cheers. Thanks, guys.
Yep.